Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is teacher K. Today we're looking at answering essay questions in civic education. So when we are writing our exam, we have a paper that is carrying 100 marks, and that 100 marks is equal to 100%. So section A has got 20 marks, 20 questions, and these questions are multiple choice. Each question is equal to 1 mark, which gives us 20 marks. Then we have section B, which is equal to 40 marks. And you're supposed to answer 5 questions from this section. Each question carries 8 marks. Then we have section C, which carries 40 marks. And there are 2 questions that we're supposed to answer from this section. Each question carries 20 marks. Now in section C, it's a must you answer all the questions in essay form. Section B, there are times we are given to answer a question as an essay, a short essay. So we'll look at this as we go on in the video. There are some guidelines that we have been given. So one, when we're writing our essay, we must not put heading. We should not add subtitles. We are not allowed to number our work, no bullets, and we are not supposed to underline to emphasize a point. So, no bullets, no numbering, no underlining, no subtitles, and no heading for our essay. The other thing that we should not do is we should not add semicolons or full colons in our work. We should make sure that we write our essay in paragraph form, and also each paragraph that we write, it should have only one point in it. And when we write our essay, we should make sure that it's something that is clear for the marker to see. Otherwise, we'll find a marker who is going to give us bad marks because they're not able to read a word, a keyword that we maybe were defining, or a point that we're trying to put across. So we should make sure that our essay is very clear for someone to read. And we should make sure we avoid words like development, writing them in short. For example, government, ECZ, development, CRC, we should always make sure that we write these words in full. For example, when you look at ECZ, there is Examination Council of Zambia, there is Electoral Commission of Zambia, then there is also the Environmental Council of Zambia. So all these should be avoided. We have 10 points that we have looked at. For example, we have an essay question here which came in 2019. The question is saying, why are elections important in good governance? Explain the characteristics of elections in good governance. Now, the first part of this question, which is why are elections important in good governance, it carries 12 marks, meaning you're supposed to give 6 points minimum, and each point is going to give us 2 marks. And then for the second part, which is explain the characteristics of elections in good governance, it carries 8 marks, and the 8 marks, it means you give us 4 points. Each point is worth 2 marks. So at least we go with 6 points here and at least 4 points here. So we have an essay question that was answered for the second part. It's not complete, but I just want us to have a view of what we're talking about. So the guideline says do not add heading. This essay has got a heading, characteristics of elections and good governance. It also has subtitles which have been told not to add. It has emphasized some points like fresh mandate here has been emphasized. So for this essay, it's not a good essay. And we'll see the penalty for writing an essay like this. Then this one is an example of how we should write our essay. Of course, you're going to have your own introduction, but this is just to put across the points that we're trying to say here. So for example, we have an essay here which is looking at the characteristics of elections in good governance. We have a point here in this paragraph, and then we have another point in this paragraph. So this paragraph only has 1 point, and this paragraph only 1 point. So this is for section C. only 1 point for each paragraph. Now, when you are writing your essay, make sure that you have a simple grammar in the presentation of your work, and also you avoid obvious or bombastic big words that you want to use in your essay. Otherwise, you'll be penalized for that. So make sure that we don't add those. We said each question carries 20 marks and there are two questions that we answer. So let's make sure that we follow the guidelines, and once we follow those guidelines, we're not going to have a problem and we'll get our 40 marks in section C. In section B, there are 8 marks for each question and we answer 5 questions. So 5 times 8 gives us 40 marks. We are supposed to write one single paragraph, and that paragraph should have all the points that we have been asked to write about in it. We should not separate the points, but make sure that all of them have been written in a single paragraph. So if, for example, I've been asked to write about the characteristics of elections in good governance, all the 4 points, that is periodic, competitive, inclusive, decisive, should be written in a single paragraph. Okay? And if we don't follow those guidelines, there is a warning that our work is going to be divided by 2. So failure to follow the standards of essay writing results in loss of marks. How do we lose those marks? You will lose half of the total marks you have scored in that essay. So if, for example, you are supposed to get 18 out of 20 for an essay, you are going to have 9. Why? Because the 18 will be divided by 2 and you get half of 18. So half of 18 is 9. If you are supposed to get 10, your essay mark will be divided by 2 and you're going to have 5 out of 20. So let's make sure that we follow those guidelines, and once we do that, we are going to make sure that we ace our essay. So I wish you all the best as you write your exams, as you study, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for being with me.